Hi, I am Rachel from 7 and All, and today we are going to be talking about habits for homeschool success. So I recently filmed and published a video on here which was about the things that I don't do on a daily basis. The things that I choose not to do in order to make time to be able to do what is important to me in homeschooling and mothering and homemaking. We can never do it all. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I suggest that you watch it. I will link it in the cards right here. But today I wanted to talk about on the positive side. What are some of the habits that I do, some habits that I've brought over from what my mom did, some habits that I found just work really well for me in order to build the homeschool that I want to have on a daily basis. So the number one habit that I want to mention is that I treat homeschool like it's my job. I think this is an analogy that pretty much everyone can relate to because we've always had jobs. Now, homeschool is perhaps an especially awesome job in many ways, and it's an especially unique job in that you don't earn money from it. But I treat homeschool as my job, and that means you can take necessary sick days off. There are days where you are not working at any job. But in general, you're not just going to be like, oh, you wake up and it's time to go to work and you just don't go to work. Or it's not going to be, oh, it's time to go to work and you're at work, but you're only kind of like halfway there and you're just, just putting in the time and you're not giving it your all. I mean, no, you can't do that because you're going to get fired. And maybe in general, you can't typically be fired from homeschooling your own kids. But I think the principle still applies that if we treat it like our job, we are going to do it well because if it's your job, you do it well. You give it your all. When you're at work, you're at work. You're not daydreaming about being somewhere else or doing something else or something else that you're going to do after work. No, when you're at work, you're there. So that's what I would encourage you, that if you are homeschooling, don't treat it as, this kind of side hobby. It's actually a big responsibility. And it's work. It's a job to do. Like literally people get paid to educate children. You are just educating your own children and you don't get paid for it. But it is an incredibly important job, and I highly suggest that you treat it like one. Number 2, habit for success. I have a daily rhythm, a daily homeschool rhythm. Our days don't really change from one day to the next. This is so helpful because for me, I don't have the mental weight of trying to decide what to do next throughout every day. This is really helpful because my kids have also internalized the daily rhythm. They know we eat breakfast with our stories, then we have some free playtime, then we do our morning schoolwork, then we have more playtime and we usually go out and we go and visit grandma and grandpa and we do schoolwork with my sisters. We have a lot of fun. Then we have lunch, then we have nap time, and during nap time we do my older son's more difficult schoolwork that's easier for him to focus on when his little brother is not being distracting. So we have these different rhythms throughout our day. I know them and my kids know them, and this really makes the day so much more smooth than if you were constantly thinking, what should I do now? What comes next? And trying to squeeze things in without a plan and without a rhythm. I do have a daily rhythm planning sheet on my website that's a freebie. I can link it down in the description for you below. Number 3, habit for homeschool success is that any behavioral issues are addressed right away and when they happen, and they aren't allowed to just continue until they become aggravating, annoying, joy-sucking habits that are then much harder to address. I've said this many times on my channel, but the thing that's going to suck the joy out of your homeschool is when your homeschool is lacking respect, when kids are not talking to each other with kindness and with love, when there's just clashes within the family relationships. Relationships that are not healthy are not going to be helping your homeschool to be healthy. So many of the things that are really draining to homeschool moms and joy-sucking to homeschool moms are actually a lot of very small, inappropriate behaviors from children that add up over time and that just become annoying. Like, I called you and it's time to come for school, and all the kids start groaning, oh, it's time for school. No, I wanted to keep playing. And all the whining and all that. That can be really draining and joy-sucking as a homeschool mom. So do we let that become part of our family culture, that all the kids whine and complain when it's time to do schoolwork? Or do we address it from very early on, from right at the get-go, that actually no, and then we practice what's the appropriate response? Hey guys, it's time for school. Yes, Mom, coming to do schoolwork. Give them a script, give them a practice in this script from a very young age, that actually it's inappropriate to respond to it's time for school with whining and complaining. That is not acceptable. It's not going to be okay in our family's culture. Now, multiply that by all the myriad of ways in which our children need to grow and to learn how to be respectful and kind, loving individuals throughout the day. There are many, many training opportunities. What I would recommend as a habit is don't wait until it becomes joy-sucking, but address these kind of behaviors the first time they happen. Because kids are growing, they're learning, they experiment with new ways to talk to each other, to talk to you, new behaviors. Kids, they're kids. We are all, we all grew up, we know this. But address those right at the beginning rather than allowing them to continue, build up, become bad habits. The next habit for homeschool success is I don't multitask during homeschool sessions. And this is whether it be reading stories to my boys or doing our workbook time and lessons with my pre-K student, or during Chinese lessons with my sister, or any other lessons that I'm doing with my 6th grade sister. I'm not trying to do multiple things at the same time. That works very well for my brain. I am just not someone who enjoys multitasking. I know that other people really can thrive with it. I do not. I have found that I very much more enjoy any task to the fullest when it is the one thing that I'm focusing on. I tend to be let's do this one thing fully and completely, and then I will do this next thing fully and completely. I'm not trying to juggle multiple things that need me at the same time. Now, there is always some level of multitasking in parenting and homeschool. You very well might be holding a baby while you're teaching that Chinese lesson or whatever it is. There's probably going to be some level, but it's not going to be too high energy, two very active tasks at the same time. We don't want to be frying bacon while giving a spelling test and these kind of things that, they both need attention and they both deserve to be done well. So you can do some multitasking with those more, rocking the baby and doing something else, something that doesn't require all that much brain energy. But two brain energy including tasks are not a good idea. And definitely put the phone away during school. I know you want to document all the cute moments, and I do vlog occasionally, but I use my camera to vlog. But the phone can be a huge distraction for so many parents. So, put the ringer on in case of an emergency, but keep it in another room of the house, and that can be really helpful. Another habit that we include in all of our homeschool days is the habit that when my husband comes home from work, we always have a routine of tell Papa what you learned today. This is part of our dinner table discussions. This was what it was like when I was growing up, homeschooled, and we have continued that tradition today. Now, this brings in some of those Charlotte Mason ideas of narration. Children get to practice narrating what they learned, but it's also very motivational to kids to know that Dad is going to want to know what they learned. Because if I teach them something and then I ask them, okay, narrate back to me what you learned. A child will do that, but they also know, well, Mom just taught it to me, so why would I need to tell her what I just learned? It actually can be way more exciting and way more motivating to tell Dad or to tell Grandma and Grandpa or to tell some other family member who wasn't there for the lesson about what they learned. It's an incredible skill for, reviewing, repeating, cementing the information that they've mastered. But it also builds relationship. It gets Dad or it gets that other family member invested into what's happening in the homeschool right now. It helps them to kind of stay in the loop. And it also just really motivates the kid that they get to actually share with someone else who wasn't there what they learned about today. And the final habit that I want to talk about today is to plan for easy fun. I know myself as a homeschool mom. Some of you guys out there are like decorating your whole house to go with different unit studies and doing a whole lot of super extra fun things. And I want to say, good job, you be you. I am not that person. I am more of a minimalist. I don't like to have a lot of stuff in my home. I am not going to do all the super complicated crafts that I end up doing because my kids are so little and they can't do crafts on their own. I will do a sensory bin, but my kind of sensory bin is like throw some kinetic sand in a bin and then look around and see what toys I can find, and it's cars. So cars and sand, and that is a sensory bin. That's my style. Know your style. And if you're kind of like me and you know the importance of fun, but it has to be easy for it to be able to happen, plan for easy fun. Use curriculums that naturally include those easy fun opportunities that aren't going to require a whole extra trip to 3 different stores to find all the supplies. Use those types of curriculums. And number 2, have some things in your mind that are just those easy ways to add fun to your day. One of those for me is paint. I have little kids. If I get out the paint, instant, I'm the best mom ever because we're doing painting with 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds. So we actually use paint for some of our coloring pages at times, and that's a really easy way to add fun. Other easy ways are watch a video. Are you learning about birds? Watch a video about birds. I'm sorry for all the bird noises in my videos. We have a lot of birds here, so we could just go outside and look at the birds. But watch a video about whatever you're learning about. Kids are pretty much always going to love an excuse to watch a video during school. So just kind of make your mental list of easy ways to add fun that don't require a whole lot of planning and prep or cleanup from you, but still allow you to just be making those memories. Because while we're homeschooling, yes, it's a job. We're getting to educate our children. We're taking them from what they don't know to what they do know, giving them the skills they need for life. But it is also such a gift. We are spending our days with our babies. We're getting to go on this learning journey with them, and we want to enjoy that and have fun with that. We will enjoy this homeschooling journey more when we pay attention to some of these issues. Am I treating this like my job and giving it my all? Am I addressing those behavioral issues that can steal the joy from homeschool? And am I saying yes to fun in a way that's possible and reasonable and manageable for me? I hope that you found this video helpful, and I will be seeing you in the next one. Bye!